really shouldn't be messing with this game, but the Mountain West is where I do it the best. I've been on top of these teams. I called Boise State with T Green last week. I said, look, if you put T Green in, you're going to win the game. And what did Andy Avalos do? He came out there in the first half and tried to share the ball between two quarterbacks like an idiot. And T Green did have to come over in the second half and handle business. Boise offense is pretty much shot though. The line did a little bit better because T Green could move around a little bit, but still, the running backs not showing up like they supposed to. They don't have the receiving core that they had just a year ago, and that's not coming together. And after watching T Green, and I was high on T Green, I'm not sure if this guy is an accurate passer. They ended up having to do the naked bootleg to get this guy some room to score. I mean, they did the same naked bootleg on up and down the field a few times for this guy. You know, he killed it rushing. Excellent athlete. I just said the guy was an excellent athlete, and he was one that is persistent about winning the game. So I really liked the comeback for Boise for me last Friday, but at the same time, T Green needs work. And the part that when they were losing at the beginning, the part that fell out in my mind was that not only did Brockmeyer go to the transfer portal, but the offensive coordinator went also. So now you had a second string quarterback with an interim offensive coordinator in the game right after that. So just a bad look to be involved, but I'm glad that T Green was the athlete that I thought he was and put the team on his shoulders and basically ran the ball to turn the score around on everybody. So shout out to him, but I'm not taking you this week, T Green. No way, no how. Fresno State, Jake Hayner, you know, he's hurt, but this guy Fife is a Fresno hometown favorite, but you know, they lost last weekend to UConn in a low loss, 13-14. I can't really spot what got out of hand right there, but I mean, it happened. I mean, I said it from the get-go. Like, you bring in Teffer, he's not going to just pick up where the other coach left off just because he's been there before. He's going to have some rocks and bubbles too. But the Fife guy played really, really bad last week. I mean, he had 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. He had a QB rating of 12.9, but from what I've seen when he came in against USC, I mean, to play in such a big game, I think he had it. Maybe he just didn't prepare or something is off with him going into that last game, or they wasn't expecting something. But I think he plays a little better this time on the game. But this one right here falls in one of the classic categories of an under game right here because you have 2 teams with backup quarterbacks and offenses that are struggling, and Boise State plays a great defense, and Fresno State low-key has a spotty defense, but they play sometimes too. Even in the loss, it was only by a couple touchdowns. So I think the defense, you know, the line kind of reflects it as well. But I think this when I seen it was originally 48 and it's down to 45. I think you have a little Mountain West grudge match right here, and it become a more lower scoring game because I don't really see how they're gonna get in the end zone against each other. And I lean with Florida State plus the point. I mean Fresno State plus the points.
You lean Fresno plus, yeah. I know the thing with this is I'm looking at the schedule here. There are 5 games in. This is their first conference game too, huh? For Fresno.
First conference game. Yeah.
And Boise's sitting at 3-2, but 2-0 in the conference. So that when I looked at that game last week for Fresno, I thought that was kind of a weird scheduling spot for them. Even though I understand the theory behind it, like they were they had to play what do you call them? They played Oregon State and USC prior 2 weeks before that game that they scheduled to UConn. But it was on the road, so they're basically playing. That was on the road, right? And then they played USC on the road, right?
Yeah,
like one home game. They opened up against Cal Poly, you know, which that was, you know, easy win there. Not non-cover, 42-point favorite, but then they take 3 games on the road: Oregon State, USC, and UConn. So kind of a weird scheduling spot, but you figured, they go in there and just handle business and, get ready for Fresno. I mean, for Boise, excuse me. But I don't know, but just kind of a weird spot for them. So it kind of jumped up and bit them in the ass. Now, maybe they regroup, and then, like you said, with Herner getting hurt, so I don't know. You know more about the quarterback situation than I do with this particular spot here, but I just think Boise's got a little more momentum going in. You like Fife? You like the quarterback Fife, or you like?
Well, I like his when he came in against SC, he was able to manage the ball well, protect the ball, and everything. I don't know what happened in this other game, but I mean, I didn't. Just you mentioned it, I'm like, what's the travel miles between Connecticut and California to be coming, playing SC, go back home, which is like a 6-hour, 5-hour trip, and then get ready to get on the road and get over there. I'm sure they had to get there by what, Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah.
That was probably a mess. So him being a backup quarterback coming in to take over, maybe he didn't get everything down, but I think with coming back and having a week full of practice, I think we get a better fight right there. I'm kind of leaning towards leaning more towards that lean, getting the 7.5 out of it. I think Fresno State could pull it off, to tell you the truth, because I don't know how Boise's gonna move the ball.
Well, here's the thing: the total's sitting at what, 45.5, and they're giving up
48.
They're giving up the 7.5, which that hook's going to be big. So that's telling me that the points are going to be pretty close. If they moved up, they're kind of daring you to take Boise, but and then I understand I understand the quarterback situation with Hainer. So maybe it's not a bad look. Maybe we look at a possible under here, possibly a closer type game, or more of a defensive type game, or you think it's going to be more of an offensive type of game. What do you think?
No, I think it's going to be more.
You got to pick a total. Which way would you lean, or which way would you go?
I initially was on the under, but it was at 48. Coming down so far,
so it's coming down.
I'm not really comfortable with the 45 right there. That's the short end for a Mountain West team. They'll put up a couple fluke touchdowns on each other, but both. I mean, it's a flip of a coin if one of these quarterbacks turn on with the backup quarterbacks coming in. So I think it's going to take time for that to develop. And like I said, Fresno State defense is not really, really bad, but Boise State defense is really decent. They're only giving up like 129 on the ground and 136 in the air.
Yeah, and that plays into it with the backup quarterback and Boise's defense. So and they're hanging at 7.5. So I'll probably pass on that one.
I think I'm gonna go over from the total going under to Fresno State plus the points, because I have more faith in Fife, because look at his circumstances. He looked really solid in the USC game when he came in. I mean, they still had a chance even without Hainer. I think
I had Fresno that game. I took Fresno against USC that game. It was a loser, but like I say, when Hainer went down, that's when everything went sideways for Fresno in that game. I think they were within one score, or they were covering a number whenever that happened. And then after that, the game got put out of reach. So.
Exactly.